helping you to weather good and bad economies without putting retirement on hold. This is the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo. Ken and his son Nick know that creating a comprehensive financial plan can align your hard-earned life savings with your retirement goals. Consider them your retirement architects. Now, the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo.
We're going to do some baseline Finance 101 information sharing today, guys. Starting with the conversation about how to do better by ourselves with our investments. And in lots of things in life, we look to inspiration stories, right? You want to get in better health, so you start following the fitness experts on your social feeds, or you start researching dietitians, nutritionists for information. And when you are looking to do better with your savings, with your investment, a lot of us might say, well, let's see, what are the rich people doing? What's Warren Buffett doing? What are these big names that we know? How have they done so well by themselves with investments and handling their money? But then we begin to think to ourselves, I do not have that kind of money. In fact, I might not even have millions, $5 million. But maybe if I copy a little bit of what they do, something will work out for me. The question is, how much of what wealthy investors do actually makes sense for the rest of us to imitate?
I'd like to say a lot of it.
Okay.
But also I'd like to also put out there, be very careful.
Okay.
Nick, multiple times, has come to me, and I don't do a lot of social media stuff.
Yeah.
And Nick has come to me multiple times where he's actually found things on social media that people just post as if they're financial experts, and the stuff is so wrong.
It's so bad.
Okay.
Yeah, X, I should say, instead of Twitter, because that's the new name.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite apps, but it is a cesspool sometimes of horrible information.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people that think they're like crypto bros, is what they call themselves. And they think they're these experts. And I'm like, yeah, the market's been great the last 18 years.
Wait.
When was the last recession?
First of all, when it comes to your retirement savings, if you're getting information from somebody that calls themselves a crypto bro, maybe take pause for a moment. Maybe take pause.
Exactly. 100%. And they never post their losses also. So you know they're lying. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like when Nick brings that to me, and yeah, I kind of think back, and just because I'm a little bit older than Nick, but when I started studying finance and things like that, it was basically books and reading about Buffett and other people that invested. And I'm gonna be honest with the listeners, I don't manage all of my own stuff. In fact, a lot of what I have for retirement is managed by the same managers that manage for clients, and there's a reason for that. The thing is I don't want to watch it all day long. Clients don't want to watch things all day long. They don't want to put all that work in.
Right.
You want an expert to do it. And to get an expert, yeah, you have to pay a little bit. So I'm pretty much no different than our clients. Basically, my retirement money is in with the managers that we use. So the thing is, now you think about the wealthy people. Do you think all of them sit in front of their computer all day trading and studying every stock out there?
Probably
not at all.
No, because they'd have no time. It's a full-time job. And so the thing is they're doing what they're good at. And there's a reason they've made money. They're good at something that has generated money. And then what they're doing is they're hiring people to do the things that they might not be good at, or they might not have the time to do. And it's just improving their case. It's also taking, we talk about emotion.
Yeah. Taking the emotion out of it is a huge thing. Because, I mean, you look at the investing and bringing up Warren Buffett, I think most people would regard him as one of the best investors of all time. His thing is long-term investing. It's not, do the day trading, the swing trading. I'm trying to get 20% in 2 days. Mm-hmm. No, he's a long-term investor. So bringing up like 2007, 2008, he's someone that probably kept a good chunk of money in the market through that time. Not saying all of his money, and this definitely depends on your age, your risk tolerance, and stuff like that. But the S&P 500 has always come back, and we always hope it does, or we're in a lot bigger troubles as a nation.
That's a whole different radio show, Nick.
But if it does come back like it has been, then long-term investing is going to always win for you. And it's always going to get you to the right situation. I'm not telling you to go in penny stocks, or like we just brought up the crypto bros, but indexing trading is one of the better tools to use. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, it gets you out of trading singular stocks so that if one company fails, for example, and not picking on this company, but Coca-Cola, I know they're doing well, but if they failed, you wouldn't feel it as much if you were holding the whole S&P 500 of the index rather than just Coca-Cola. So that's why they say long-term investing is always gets you ahead usually, but sometimes there is pain. And if this is something that you need to start looking at, if you're 3 to 5 years from retirement, buy and hold might not be the correct option for you, maybe with a section of money, but give us a call. We do this complimentary, our Tumolo retirement checkup, our phone number 860-854-3434, or go to our website at tfcheckup.com. But yeah, someone 3 to 5 years worth, it really depends on your risk tolerance. I mean, we talk about it all the time, having a 2-bucket approach, market versus safe, or with some people, even a 3-bucket approach where someone that likes risk, that 3rd bucket will be the risk bucket. That's the one that they're thinking that long-term thinking. Okay, if something does happen in the market, I'm going to hold it through it. And hopefully at the time, 10, 20 years down the road, this is this part that's given me the most growth.
And Nick, you actually hit on it. You know what else the wealthy do? A little bit more planning.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, and you think about it, that's what we do.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how many times people come in. It actually happened this past week. Guy went to one of, he came in, not his wife. They went to one of the workshops Nick did, and it was an educational workshop. And when he came in, he didn't visit with Nick just because Nick wasn't available. I was available. And he comes in, he tells me, your son did a great job. I'm like, good, that's good to hear. And he pulls a sheet out of, because what we do is we give him a folder and we give him a sample of a plan in there.
Okay.
Which basically is a huge spreadsheet. He pulls that out. He goes, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I've been to so many workshops, and none of these advisors in this area are actually planning and solving for the things you're solving for. I will say he's an engineer.
Got it.
Right when he saw that, it's like, oh, someone's putting something together.
He saw a spreadsheet and he was like, they're speaking my love language.
Oh, yeah, those engineers, they love that. And they like going through each column, every number. What does this number mean versus this?
Yeah. But the thing is showing people that we look at the numbers and that there's planning going on, and you're looking for those things to help them get through retirement. You're trying to solve for taxes, when to start social, making sure they're going to be okay. It's all those important things. And so that's a big part of what we do. You gotta know you can retire. One other thing I'll say, and we were talking about, Buffett earlier. I read a book about him years back, and it really talked about the fact that, and this kind of has to do with times now, that he would value the companies before he invested in them. Okay. And digging into financials on companies and things like that. I feel that the market since COVID has gotten a little disconnected from the value of companies. These stocks are trading at all-time highs. You start to look at, is the company really worth what the stock says it is? And a lot of them aren't. It's so the scary thing is the market has really taken off. So reason I bring that up is the planning piece of it too. The wealthy protect. I mean, if the market falls apart, they're not changing their lifestyle. They're still living their lifestyle. And what I mean by protect, you build certain things into it. It's just to make sure you always have a place to draw money from. And so to get started with planning, and we do it complimentary for our listeners, 860-854-3434, or visit us online at tfcheckup.com.
Yeah. One more person I was just listening to. This was I think about a month ago. Kevin O'Leary, big investor and everything. He was talking about, and this is getting a little bit ahead on the more wealthy side, but he's like, yeah, I like to have a set amount of money in U.S. Treasury bills. They're paying well right now. Like right now, currently, I think they're paying about 3.6%. I like having that number there in case something does happen in the market. So like I said, we don't just preach, okay, buy and hold in the market. Even someone like Kevin O'Leary that is a risk taker, he loves investing. He has treasuries on the side in case something happens. So Warren Buffett does too. I mean, Warren Buffett has talked about it in the past during COVID, during 2022. He had cash on the side so he can buy at a lower point or keep himself comfortable to keep living his lifestyle. So even these more wealthy people, they do, like we just said, they have a plan. They're planning for those things in case they do happen, because they eventually, unfortunately, will. A recession does happen usually once every 10 years. Those things will happen. And Kevin O'Leary and Warren Buffett are prepared for it. I'll even bring up the younger crowd because I talked to someone 41 and 40 a few days ago. They're very risk adverse. They're very conservative investors for being 41 and 40. And we're just talking about, because we don't know when we're going to retire at that age. Like I'm only 32 years old.
Yeah.
So what we did was, okay, let's pretend you're retiring at 65. That's roughly about the average age people retire nowadays. And I was like, well, you got about 25 years of investing. So if something does happen in the market, things could recover by the time you retire and then some. And like I said, hopefully that keeps going at that rate.
Yeah.
And so what I did for them, I showed them kind of the allocation that I like to run. For them, I stepped it back a little bit because of them being a little more conservative. But it was more index trading, holding some target funds, holding stuff that they feel comfortable to get them growth and do a little more buy and hold and not set it and forget it. Because when you're putting money in the 401k every week or bi-weekly, whenever your paycheck happens, you're putting it in various times during the market. So they're getting more bang for their buck. It's called dollar cost averaging. And basically they're putting it at different times in the market so that when they get to that time at 65, that money will grow. And the thing was, he was asking me too, he was also asking if something does happen in the market, should I pull money out of the market? And I said, well, it is your risk tolerance. But I've heard so many horror stories from 07, 08, people pulling their money out and just not going back in the market. They already lost 20, 30% of their money. The market ended up going down 50% and it never recovered because they never put it back. They never felt comfortable. So what I told them, unless you feel like you really need to take out of the market, take a section out of the market to make yourself feel comfortable. Kind of the same approach as Buffett and Kevin O'Leary, having those treasuries on the side and then letting the other stuff recover. You still have 25 years. Let it take those peaks and valleys at this time. And then when you get closer to retirement, then let's do a little more planning to cut back on that risk. So we do this Tumolo Retirement Checkup complimentary to look at your investing, tax strategies, anything like that. For any of our qualified listeners, our phone number is 860-854-3434, or you go to our website at tfcheckup.com.
Investment advice offered through Tumolo Wealth Management, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here.